There you have the scene of downtown Rome. You've got paved roads, which show that there's been planning. You've got sewers, fresh water, public baths. You've got the aqueduct on the hill to bring the water into the city. This is happening because the Romans planned their public health. It's better than the Greeks before them, the Egyptians before them. But what comes after Rome is nowhere near as good. History isn't always about one constant upward march of progress. After the Romans go, it's regression. It's the Dark Ages, then the Middle Ages. Because there's medieval public health. Where? It's not there. Because Rome had strong government. Medieval, weak government. Rome collected taxes and built things. Medieval didn't collect that much way in the tax, couldn't do things. In Rome, you went to the toilet in the public toilets. Medieval times, you went in the nearest convenient public river. In Rome, you wouldn't wash your clothes in that river. In medieval times, you did. In Rome, you kept the houses apart. In medieval times, they crowd in on each other. Rome was planned and organised and far in advance of what came after it. Okay? Roman public health was not perfect. The wealthier got a better deal than the poor. But Roman health was better than anything that came before it and anything that would come after it for over 1,500 years. To have what you have today for public health is quite an achievement, considering that your great-great-great-great-grandparents would probably die at the age of 30 of diseases that today we can prevent, yet alone cure. Okay? So how did Roman medicine not change? How did it stay the same from what came before it? So we're talking it up and we're building up Roman medicine. Brilliant. That's what they did. What didn't change? Well, we've already said 70% of the world around them they couldn't explain. So they were big on their gods. They were superstitious. Unlike most cultures that came before them, the Romans didn't allow you to carry out human dissection. They believed that was against what God would like, or their gods would like. So if you believe that Galen did it, Galen was being very brave. But the Greeks didn't like dissection before them. The Catholic Church didn't like dissection afterward. Right? So very superstitious. Nothing had changed there. So, briefly then, a summary. The Romans were practical. The head of the family was normally the doctor because they didn't trust doctors, especially the Greeks. Galen must have been very good. It was the Greeks living in Rome that made the advances. The most famous Greek of whom was Claudius Galen. Galen was good because he carried on and continued the work of Hippocrates, making it better, but he also made mistakes. And unfortunately, those mistakes were not allowed to be challenged by the church for over 1,500 years. You can't blame Galen for that. We have the theory of opposites, and he advanced the understanding of anatomy, where parts of the body are, and physiology, how they work. Galen's ideas would be law for well over 1,000 years. because the Catholic Church liked what he said and wouldn't allow anyone to question him. So when Vesalius comes along with the skull and the jawbone, he's a brave man to challenge what the church is saying. The Romans believed in providing healthy conditions for their people. They built their towns in healthy places. Everyone had access to fresh, clean water, public baths, toilets, drains, sewerage. There was a police system to make sure that public health was enforced. And the Romans were the first people to provide healthy conditions for everyone. Some people may argue that we haven't got that far today. And unfortunately, the Roman Empire doesn't survive forever. Around AD 500, the Roman Empire falls apart. And we enter the Dark Ages. That's when regression comes in. That last word at the end of this series of notes you're writing is regression. And those people, those tribes of people that trashed the Roman Empire, they were called barbarians and they were called Vandals. And to this day, those names of tribes are still used to describe people who destroy things. You ruin something, you're a Vandal. You trash something, you're a barbarian. Those people destroyed the Roman Empire and brought about the Dark Ages.